Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Jaden. Welcome to my channel. In this video today, I will talk to you about my honest dating experience here in Stockholm. And as always, Sweden have very bad weather. So I just arrived to the city center and it looks like it's gonna rain. So that's the start of my day. Fantastic, right? But nonetheless, I wanted to come to the city center right here next to the port to make this video for you guys, because it's a video I think a lot of guys will find interesting. I always get asked, what is it like gaming in Sweden? What is it like meeting Swedish girls? What is it like meeting girls in the daytime? What is it like meeting girls in the nighttime? And we're gonna talk about all of that in this video. So as I'm walking here next to the beautiful port here in Stockholm, we're gonna have a little bit of a chat, me and you, the viewer. Okay, so let's get into it. First things first, I want to make a disclaimer. Normally, when I travel for two reasons: to make money, to coach guys, and also to meet chicks, obviously. But this trip was a little bit different for me because I am born and raised in Stockholm. And so I came here to update my identification. I came here to update my passport. I came here to visit friends. I came here to visit family. And so I've been busy a lot with like visiting cousins and aunties and meeting like childhood friends. And so like I haven't been completely dedicated to the game here in Stockholm. So obviously if I came here I've been here for almost 2 weeks. So if I came here for 2 weeks and the only thing I did was focus on, game, I would have another experience, right? But because I'm here and it's all a mess, like I have to go to the police, because you go to the police here in Stockholm to update your identification. So I had to go to the police, I had to get the time, I had to do so many things, meet cousins. Sometimes I would just sit in bars with friends, like empty bars, like empty bars. I would sit in empty bars with friends and just catch up, like no girls around, and so I missed a lot of game here in Stockholm. But nonetheless, being a productive individual as I am, being a fucking G, I did game. I went to so many clubs, so many parties. I did day game, I did night game. So that's the disclaimer, but I wasn't like fully dedicated. So I think I want to walk this way. So first things first, let's talk about the number one source of my dates here in Stockholm, which was Tinder. Okay, so we're also going to talk a little bit about online game as well. So I downloaded Tinder like 1 week after arriving, I think. 4 or 5 days after arriving, I downloaded Tinder. The day that I downloaded Tinder, I got so many matches. Like, it was just off the charts. Off the charts. It was so many girls that matched with me. And because I got Tinder Gold, so I could immediately see all of the chicks. So I didn't even have to swipe. And I just picked the hot ones and I matched them. And I got a date like the same day. Like within 2 hours of downloading the app, I had a date like instantly. And not only did I have a date instantly, I had a hard time like with the Tinder app. It kind of fucked me up because I had to like cancel dates and stuff. Like, it was just too many chicks. Like, I think I canceled like 4 dates or 5 dates because I just couldn't make it. I couldn't meet all of them. Like, Tinder for me was working brilliantly. Like, brilliantly. So because Tinder was working brilliantly, I already had dates planned, which was amazing. And so if you're considering coming to Stockholm, I would recommend you to use Tinder. I didn't use Hinge, I didn't use Bumble, I didn't use any of those things. So I can't comment on the other apps, but Tinder for me was popping. And the girls were super easy to meet up with. I was like, hey, you want to hit a bar? You want to bar hop? You want to get drunk together? Literally, that was what I was writing. And all the girls said yes. It was insane. Like, Tinder was off the motherfucking charts. So I would recommend you guys download Tinder if you come to Stockholm. And for me, because I was with friends and family and all that kind of stuff, it was good. So I could, for example, be in my family home, just hanging out with my auntie or something, and texting girls to meet me up late at night. So for me, it was like, it was amazing. Now, I live permanently in Barcelona, so I don't really use Tinder in Barcelona, like, because you don't need to. Like, it's just chicks everywhere, and I live in the schmack in the middle of the city center, so I'm not really using Tinder. Like, I even delete the app when I'm in Barcelona. Like, I don't use it. I only use Tinder when I travel, and this is because I can just text the girls from the airport, whatever, and already have like dates set up. It's amazing. That's number one. Number two, I want to talk about night game. And then afterwards, we're going to move to daytime approaching and talk about that as well. So night game is fantastic here, okay? And it's fantastic because of these reasons, okay? Feminism is powerful here. Super big. Women just want to do what they want to do. And oftentimes, when people are left up to their own devices, like when people do whatever they want to do, what does that mean? Promiscuity. And so when I was going to bars and clubs, and I went to like all the clubs, I went, not all of them, but like a lot of them. And I can recommend some clubs in the description down below, so I can recommend them. I'm not going to talk about the clubs here because it's going to be too long of a video, but I went to a lot of clubs, very good ones. I will recommend them down below. But the girls were just like insane. They were just so fucking horny, man. Like, it was absolutely insane. And Swedish girls, like, and when I mean Swedish girls, I don't mean just the blondes. I mean like anybody who's natively Swedish. So in Sweden, we have a lot of immigration. So we have, we have Kurdish girls, Turkish girls, we have Arabic girls, we have Russian girls that are born here, born and bred in Sweden. They speak perfect Swedish, but they're not like ethnically Swedish, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of immigration here. And so I kind of just realized as soon as I hit the clubs and stuff at night, which was when I had the most time, because again, I'm with friends and family and all that kind of stuff during the day. Dude, girls were shameless. They would stare at you like this. They'd come tap my shoulder. When I approached, I was like, I almost never got rejected, like in the clubs. Like, it was just insane. It was insane. Girls wanted to dance. Girls were open to making out. Girls were open to like going home with you. It was so easy to like bounce girls to different bars. So if you were in one bar and you met like 3 girls and you're like, come with me to the next bar, they're like, okay, let's go. Like, it was just like, everything was like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. After parties, after the clubs to organize girls to come back to the crib. It was also super easy. So just nightlife in Sweden, it was for me just absolutely amazing. Really good, really fun. The only downside is that it's fucking expensive. Like it's just expensive. I'm not used to paying. Wow, this walk is so beautiful. Let me show you guys. Holy shit, we gotta walk over there. This is the carway, I guess. Okay, now I'm on the walkway. Actually, I want to walk on this side. Hold on, guys. So the only downside about night game, everything is expensive. I can't just stress that enough. It's just fucking expensive to be here. So that's the only downside. Now, if you don't drink alcohol, I drink alcohol. I've been drinking throughout this whole trip. It's just fucking expensive, man. So if you're like a non-drinker, it's amazing. Most of the clubs have guest lists, and also they have special times where you can get in for free if you just show up on the right time. All of this can be researched, very easy. You can find it online. You can Google the club, find the website, and over there, they'll literally tell you when it's free. Easy, easy, easy. Night game was amazing, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday was really fun too. Another thing is with night game is you have to pace yourself. So for example, in Barcelona, I would show up to the club at midnight or 1 a.m. when it's really like, for example, clubs open at midnight in Barcelona. And so I would show up like, let's say 1 a.m. maybe. I would show up 1 a.m. and stay in the club from 1 till, let's say 4 a.m. and go home. Now here, we have so many day parties in Stockholm. And those day parties, they start at like 5 o'clock. And so you go there 5 o'clock, you order drinks, you start talking to chicks. And then, you know, it's cool, it's fun, but the real party starts at midnight. So imagine if you go to this fucking day party, you're already like having fun at like 6 o'clock in the evening because it starts at 5. And by midnight, you're fucking tired. So the first day I arrived to this day party and I partied hard from like 5 o'clock. And at midnight, when when the real party started, because that place which I'm talking about is called Trädgården. It starts really popping at like midnight. And so at midnight, I was exhausted. That's like a whole work day. Like from 5 o'clock till midnight, that's a motherfucking work day. So when all the chicks are horny and all that kind of shit in the night, I was just like ready to go home. Like already, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going home. So very quickly, I had to pace myself. So I would show up later to the places. Okay, and if you show up later, you will have to pay entrance, and that's also expensive, like $25 at least, or $22, you know? And so I would recommend you guys not to go early. Like I would recommend you guys to have some cash, have some money, and I would recommend you guys to come later, like, because you're just gonna get exhausted. If you go early, you're just gonna be exhausted. One day I also did day game, like all day, and then I went out at night, and I was just, again, exhausted. So I had to like divide it, you know, in a way where it's like, okay, today I'm only doing day game, or today I'm only doing night game, because the distances are so long. Like there's so much walking in Stockholm, like you just get tired, man. So I had to like pick, okay, today I'm doing day game, or today I'm doing night game, because it was just too exhausting for me. I'm in my 30s to do the whole fucking, you know, thing. So that's night game. It was just, girls were just shameless. They didn't give a F. They just didn't give a F. Okay? Also, I want to talk about feminism in the end towards this video, if I remember. Hopefully I do. But now let's move on to day game. Day game was the thing that I did the least here. Okay? So I want to come back again at some point and do day game properly here in Stockholm. But it was basically like raining all the time, and it was shitty weather, and the Swedish people are like very weather sensitive. So if it's like a day like this, you see it's very cloudy, the sky is like this, people don't go out. They just don't go out. So day game ended up being like a lot of walking for nothing. Like it was just like it just felt useless, to be honest, for me personally. Now, when it comes to day game, when it comes to the women in day game, because that's what you guys want to know, I had two experiences, okay? Two experiences. And what I want to say is this. Again, for me, there's a big distinction between a blonde girl that's like, you know, natively, ethnically Swedish. And then there's, you know, like black girls here, there's Kurdish girls, Turkish girls, whatever. When I approached the girls, they were really blonde, blue-eyed, whatever. Like, I didn't do very well with them in day game. I didn't approach many. I approached maybe 10, 11 girls that were blonde in day game. But they just didn't seem to get the concept. They were like, oh, am I being filmed? What are we doing here? I'm like, I'm just a dude who likes you. Like, you look beautiful. Like, what's going on? Like, let's get it on, baby. You know what I mean? And they didn't seem to get that concept. They didn't seem to and they didn't seem to get the concept. And so I wasn't doing very, very well with the blonde girls in day game. But I did very well with the blonde girls in night game. And though the blonde girls in night game were the ones who were like the most horny, the most excited, the most whatever. So those very same girls, when I did day game, they would be like gently, politely excusing themselves and leaving. However, with the girls who were not ethnically Swedish, black, Eritrean, Somali, again, Kurdish, Turkish, whatever it is, those girls were super open in day game, like super open. So I would like rock up to them, be like, hey baby, you look good. And they'd be like, hello, what's your name? You look good too. They would be flirting with me, and they were very open towards me in day game. And I think it's because many of those girls, they're used to those non-ethnic Swedish girls. They're very used to like dudes opening them, you know, in the ghetto, in the neighborhoods. Many of them don't live in the city center. Many of them grew up, you know, when they were 13, 14, 15 years old, and guys were like just approaching them, talking to them, especially the immigrant guys here in Sweden. They have no fear. They just go open chicks. Like, they don't give a fuck. So the immigrant girls were very, very used to getting opened. And so it would just, those sets would fly open. Bam, 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 bam. And obviously I don't have a lot of time here, so I just did more of what works. So all those girls were down to drink and all that kind of stuff and meet and excited to see me. Whereas the Swedish girls that I met, like during the daytime, they would often leave me on red or unfollow me or something like that, okay? But again, I didn't do a lot of blonde sets during the daytime due to, you know, constrictions of, you know, friends and family and all of that kind of stuff, if that makes sense, my friends. And so that was really my whole experience. Like, Tinder was popping like crazy, like crazy. I've never seen so many matches, so much excitement, so much willingness to meet up from Tinder. And night game, again, sets would fly open. Girls would be horny. Another thing I want to say about night game as well is, if you're the kind of guy who's trying to like grab a bunch of numbers or grab a bunch of Instagrams in night game here in Stockholm, you, my friend, are going to not do very well. Because the girls drink a lot, and they're very excited to party, and they're very horny, and they need you to do something tonight. So like just grabbing like walking around in a club, just socially connecting and grabbing Instagrams and stuff like that doesn't fucking work here. So what you want to do in night game is you want to like meet a girl that you have chemistry with, that you find attractive, and like stay with her, buy her a drink, talk to her in a good way, make plans. Hey, maybe we can go back to my place later tonight or your place, and start talking in a way that's designed to close. And they respond very well to the close, because there's a lack of masculinity in this country. A lot of Swedish men are feminized, and so when you're coming in, hey baby, you look good, let me buy you a drink, you know, you give her a kiss on the cheek, you get a little frisky with her. They like that shit. And then you're the man with the plan. You're like, hey, let's fucking go to my place, let's go over here, let's do this, bum 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 bum. Works super good. And so what I want to do is I want to come back in the future and just focus on doing day game and give you guys a video where I can go deeper into day game in Sweden. But now I just wanted to give you like my honest experience from being here for 10 days. Again, I had a lot of restrictions, a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of like just meeting up not random guys, but meeting up guys that I've known for a long time, and going to like shitty bars and just like buying drinks and just talking, you know, because there's so many people. I haven't been here for 10 years. There's so many people I didn't see. And you know, life is not all about chicks, right? And so just catching up with those friends, buying them drinks, giving them hugs, telling them I miss them, you know. So like that kind of stuff. A lot of broness, you know. There's been a lot of broness here in Stockholm. Another thing also, people are very polite in clubs. Like if somebody steps on your toe or your shoe, they're like, oh, sorry. Or when guys and people who are passing through, they're very, very, very polite. Excuse me, can I pass through, please? You know, people are very, very polite in Sweden. No fights, no arguments, no violence, nothing. Like everything is very chill. The city center here, like all the way here, it's super expensive to live. So you just gotta have money if you come to Sweden. Just keeping it real. My dates, they cost a minimum $100. Just go into a bar with a girl, and guys, look at this. Look at this. There's so much nature in Sweden. You can breathe here. There's fresh air. Sometimes it can also be difficult to organize like dates in a way where like you live outside the city center, the girl lives outside the city center, and you gotta like find a time, you gotta find a place to meet. But the pro is, if a girl does come out and meet you, they're very horny, they're very interested, and they're very like excited, and they want to fuck and go out and drink and dance, and there's just a lot of drinking in Sweden, to be honest, you know. And so that's been a very nice plus as well. Like people are just like, there's not really much to do here, so people are down to do things, to hook up, to have fun, to have romance. It's very easy to get a girlfriend in Sweden as well, because a lot of girls, they want to like have boyfriends, they want to like have someone to be with, okay? Another thing as well, I noticed as well, because especially with the ethnically Swedish girls, because I'm a very polarizing individual. Like I'm completely unfiltered, and I just don't give a fuck. And a lot of Swedish girls I met, they want you to be politically correct. And so I'm super polarizing. I don't give a F, you know? And so their feminism instinct kind of kicked in, and they're like, why do you say this? Or why do you say that? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And so I got shit tested a lot, like a lot, which is good. If you pass the tests, you get to fuck. However, with the immigrant girls, when I was polarizing, like basically when I didn't give a fuck and said whatever I wanted to say, they liked it. I didn't get shit tested by them. They were just excited. They're like, oh wow, here's a crazy fun dude. Love that, you know? So I got so much like positive feedback from those girls. So I kept talking to those girls. I also went to the super expensive luxury bars and places and that kind of stuff. Again, it was kind of the same thing. They were just horny. Like Swedish girls, they just go drink kava and shots and that kind of stuff, and then they're just horny. I can't say it in any other way. And if you're trying to play the long-term game, when you're like, oh, give me your number, I'll see you later, all that kind of stuff, you're just gonna lose. So basically a night out is find a fucking chick that you like, that's available, and stick to the girl and bring her back home. Drink with her, dance with her, talk to her, maybe bounce her to another club, another bar, and then bring her the fuck back home. I noticed another thing too, like if you met a girl and she was really on in the night game, and you like talked to her and kissed maybe or danced, and you stepped away, like because you had to like maybe go to the toilet, or your childhood friends or your friends, they want to, you know, talk to you a little bit, they would already be on another guy when you came back. So persistence is huge in Stockholm. Like you find a girl and you just gotta like fucking stick like glue. That really worked really well here in Stockholm. Again, I've been here for 2 weeks. My experience with girls has been amazing. It's been amazing. The only thing I really can't comment too much on, again, is day game. But I did very well with the immigrant chicks in day game. And the Swedish girls, they were a bit reserved. They're like, oh, what's going on here? Like they were like a bit harder to like get a set rolling. But me, I don't give a fuck about blonde girls anyway, because you can find blonde girls in Finland, in Norway, in Denmark. You can find the blonde girls in Germany. You can find blonde girls in America. You can find blonde girls in Russia. Like I never really got the hype with like, oh, Swedish blonde. Like I never, like who gives a fuck? You can find a blonde everywhere. Like, so I didn't really care. And yeah, That's my experience. And a lot of girls are like, especially if you go to like, there's a place called Söder, which is like hipster. All the girls are into like polyamory and fucking and casual relationships and non-labels and that kind of stuff. And that's all obviously a pro if you're just here to hook up and you're here to have fun. And so definitely recommend the night game. I will put something down below where you can like actually, you know, I'll put some names to clubs, names to bars, names to places. And there you can, you know, when you arrive, you can go to those places. Drinks are expensive as fuck. Sweden is expensive as fuck. Don't come here if you don't have money. And also I would recommend you to live in the city center. Again, it's going to be expensive, but it's easy to pull. Okay, so also last thing I want to say is a lot of girls have their own apartment. So I ended up going to chicks places and fucking over there. So a lot of girls have their own apartment and they're like happy to bring you home. You know what I mean? Like sex culture is big in Sweden. So there's no problem in that department. Tinder was amazing. And I feel like I'm kind of rambling on now. So I think I've said all that I wanted to say in this video today. If you like this video, like the goddamn video, comment down below, subscribe, and I see y'all, my brothers, in that next video. Peace.